everybody, I'm Tom Vasel.
What's up, y'all? I'm Sam Healey.
Now, to head off all the questions ahead of time, where's Z Garcia?
He's in the hospital again.
Oh, dude.
I'm not.
Oh,
He's
man.
not. He's not.
Oh, he is sick, though, but it's nothing major. It's more of
He got the con crud.
yeah, that's what it is. So, otherwise, he would be here. So, for those of you watching, this is our weekly question and answer time. And we have two ways that we do questions. We will answer questions straight from YouTube in the second half. In the first half, we're answering from a site called Q&A. There's a link in the description. You can go there and vote the questions up that you would like to see answered. If you're having a hard time scrolling there, arrow keys will scroll through it more quickly. Although I don't have a problem on using Chrome on a Mac, but some people do. So I don't know what to tell you there. So we're going to jump right into these questions. What was your favorite gaming experience at Gamma?
Gaming experience? Wow. I didn't really play a lot of games at Gamma.
Yeah, we didn't. I mean, well, we'll do two things. We'll do Gamma, and then we'll include MeepleCon,
Okay.
which is where we went to after Gamma.
At Gamma, I think the only game I was able to play was Star Trek Panic, which is a new game that's in that Castle Panic line, and they got the Star Trek IP for that, and it's really cool. It's really neat. The main piece is like a cardboard Colt Express like version of the USS Enterprise, and the Klingons and all these guys are coming in and shooting, and there's little blue shields that you have to damage, and it's a really neat implementation of that IP for that game. It's actually the first Panic game that I've played, and it was a really fun experience. So I really enjoyed that one.
For me, at Gamma, I really enjoyed the new Martin Wallace game from Days Wonder, but probably not Days Wonder, Space Cowboys, but probably it was Mystic Vales from AEG. I'm a big deck builder fan anyway, and this one you could build your own cards.
Yeah.
Just had a really good time. It was either that or Happy Salmon. You laugh. All right, so after Gamma, we went to MeepleCon, which is a local Las Vegas con. He told me there was like over 400 people.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. It reminded me of Dice Tower Con 2.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this. Interesting enough, they had a very small library compared to other cons.
True.
But it was a good library.
Right.
I was able to go like, oh, that's good game, good game, good game. Mm-hmm. If you're a small convention, you don't need to have a huge library. You just need to have a
good library.
Good games that people want to play.
Right.
So hint, if no one plays it one year, don't bring it back for year 2. Anyway, what's your favorite game you played there?
My favorite game I played there would have to be probably Twilight Imperium 3. We played for Twilight Imperium 3, a really fast game of it. It was only about 5 hours of game for Twilight Imperium, that's really fast for a 5-player game. So that it was really fun. It was the first time that I actually won the game by myself. There's another time where I actually tied for first when we had to stop playing. So this is the first full game where I won the game by myself. So that was pretty cool. It was kind of what I would consider a cheesy win because it was a points win rather than anything else. You know, I didn't take over Mechatol Rex or anything like that.
Well, that's how you normally win Twilight, is through points.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I didn't attack anybody really in a major way throughout the entire game because the two guys that were sitting on this side of the board were just at each other's throats, and we called it the Civil War because one guy was playing gray and the other one was playing blue. So it was the blue and gray. They were fighting each other, and then red and orange were fighting each other over here.
Makes sense that blue and gray would fight each other.
Yeah, it kind of does. But red and orange were fighting each other over there, and I was just kind of going, yeah, attack him. Yeah, go, yeah, yeah. And meanwhile, I'm just like, yeah, and I can move in here while he's busy over there, and I can move in here while he's busy over there. And I came away with scoring 11 points. So that was a fun game. Everybody had a great time, too. So it was really good.
Man, it's tough for me. I played Cosmic Encounter. That's always good. La Havre. I played a lot of games I really like. I think I'll go for playing Vegas Showdown. Because we played Vegas Showdown.
In Vegas.
In Vegas.
Meta.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of cool. Sit there like, oh, I want the buffet for mine. Which I actually didn't get the buffet for mine. But I should have if we were going to go by experience.
All right.
So that maybe I'll say that. But I didn't play any bad games. And I didn't play any games with bad people. I played Airlines Europe, and I taught games to new people, and it was fun. I had fun the whole time. It was a really fun convention. If you're in Las Vegas, I would certainly recommend going.
Yeah. I mean, the TI3 game was my most memorable for a number of reasons, but, I mean, I taught some people Blood Rage. I taught some people Mission Red Planet. We played a game about poop and found out that Tom is the master of making poop euphemisms during a game.
Oh, you didn't know?
I did not know this.
I know. I looked it up on my phone.
Oh, you did. Okay. Well, oh my goodness. Okay.
There's actually websites dedicated to this.
Yes, I'm sure there probably are.
There are worse ones I could have said. I chose not to.
Yeah. Okay. But it was a great time. Great people. If you're ever in the area, I would greatly recommend you checking out MeepleCon. That was a very good convention. A lot of nice people.
If we can make it, we'll be there next year.
Yep.
Were there any new game mechanisms that you were introduced to at Gamma? If so, what did you think of them? Well, I'm just going to repeat myself and say the Mystic Veil, because that looked really cool. Was there anything that they showed where you were like, ooh, that sounds really neat?
Yeah, actually, Eagle Griffin showed a prototype version of this game they have coming out called, it's going to Kickstarter, I believe, called Daedalus Sentence, where it's a circular board that has concentric circles in it, and within those concentric circles, the actual pieces of the board fit. And each piece of the board represents a different room within this huge space prison. And the players are inmates that are trying to escape the prison, and you start in the very center of the board and you have to go out. But each room of the board is on this circular thing, and as you are moving out, I don't know exactly when, but sometime during the turns, the rooms can shift, and they just push along that track. So it's kind of like that, the movie The Cube, where those rooms are like constantly shifting. Yeah. And whenever you're going into, you think you're going into this one room, you might not be going into that room, you're going into a different room. And so I thought that was pretty neat. It's going to have miniatures as well, so I thought that was pretty, that's one of the things that first drew my attention to it. But that little concentric thing was pretty cool. That's the only real mechanism, I guess you could say, that was, that I thought was pretty cool.
We did a live feed of all the stuff there, but we're also posting better quality videos of this as time goes by. You might see a couple tomorrow, and you'll definitely see some Wednesday and going on from there. We're just editing them all. There's a lot. Would you say 65?
Yeah, between about 64 or 65 videos.
Yeah, there's a lot. And there's a lot going on with these videos, so we'll get to work on them.
Mm-hmm.
What's a commonly requested top 10 list that you would never do?
Well, I don't get requests for top 10, so that's probably a question for you.
No, but, I mean, we often get asked to do a top 10 of our top 10s, which I always thought is too meta. Top 10 friends.
Top 10 lists?
Yeah, it's like, okay. Should this site start a downvote option? Now, I was going to delete that one, but I wanted to talk. I'm not a big fan of downvoting at all. Board Game Geek used to have a downvoting option. Remember those days? Yes. They were bloody days.
Yes, they were.
You could post stuff and people would downvote it like crazy. Now, they have the red X on Board Game Geek, but technically that's supposed to be used only if it
breaks a rule.
Breaks a rule. Yeah. But you can say something that people didn't like, and you'd have negatives. Downvoting's mean. And if you doubt me, go to Reddit. They have downvoting there. And you get downvoted there sometimes if you just say an opinion people don't like, which is dumb. Mm-hmm. Because you're only supposed to downvote something if it's wrong or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, well. Why was Z forced to interview designers of generic fantasy games at Gamma?
I I didn't realize that he was.
It was kind of random, I guess, how they did the things.
Yeah, we're not really there to interview just the people that we want to interview. Although he was very adamant that he was going to do Portal,
Which you'll be able to tell when you see the Portal interview.
Yeah, the longest interview of the entire show. But so I don't know. We're kind of just free form in deciding when to rotate and who's going to do what. And there was no real schedule of who was going to do what interview and that type of thing.
Would you consider it stealing to play homemade, much lower quality versions of games like Telestration, Spyfall, Who Would Win, and such?
If it's no longer in print,
Well, what about a game, Telestrations, for example, is a game that was already in existence before they made Telestrations.
Right.
It was called Eat Poop You Cat. And I know we keep going back to the poop thing. But it was played on the internet for a while, then they made an actual game of it.
yeah.
And I actually played it before Telestrations existed with paper and pen.
Okay.
Spyfall did not exist before, and that I know of.
Yeah, and that's where I guess that's where I'm kind of coming from. If it was use the word innovative flippantly in this case, but if it was an innovative game that is the first to do whatever it did, and you just don't want to go buy it, then yeah, that's getting kind of shady. But if it's out of print and you can't get it anywhere, or there's this one copy on Amazon for like $300 that you're just not going to buy the game that way. I don't know. I guess you could say that's kind of a gray area. There's a definite place that I know I wouldn't do something like that. But I guess it's left up to what you are convicted about, I guess.
I agree with Sam. I mean, if it's out of print and you can't find it, or if you want to make your own custom version, like I made my custom faces and things like that. I will say this, though. I made my custom faces, but I bought the game faces. Mm-hmm. I think if you're doing this to get out of paying for the game...
Right.
Why? Okay, you might be super poor. Then maybe I don't know. If you're not buying the game, you're stealing money from the person who created the game. Now, you could make an argument in games like Time's Up and things like that. Oh, those games already existed. But when you didn't, like Spyfall was invented by a Russian guy. When you don't buy Spyfall and make your own, well, you're not giving him money, but you're taking his idea. Mm-hmm. I'm not a huge fan of that. Of course, this is certainly a very controversial thing because there's people who download music and say, well, I can just listen to whatever I want.
It's also something I don't do.
We are not condoning that for sure. Will Sam or Z do a versus the internet video? Definitely. It went pretty well, and so I think we'll see more of those. Mm-hmm. Give us some time to get our Gamma videos done first. Mm-hmm. What was the best new component seen at Gamma?
Component. For me, I'm going to have to say, I guess it was more, not so much a component, but a component idea. And it's going to seem kind of a cop-out because it was a miniatures game that they did it for. But Dust Studios has a new way of allowing you to purchase their games. And I don't know exactly how far that you can go with this, but you can purchase Dust Studio miniatures in 3 different ways now. You can purchase them on the sprue, not put together, no paint, nothing, so that you can go home and put the things together the way you want to put them together and then paint them the way you want to paint them and all that kind of stuff. Or you can buy a second kind where they are already put together and primered, so that all you have to do is paint them the way you want them to be painted.
Or you don't have to paint them if you don't want to.
Or you can purchase them completely put together, completely painted, and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know the price points of those 3 different levels, but I thought that was a really cool idea for people that are really into miniatures games but don't want to fiddle with putting the game together and painting them. You can buy that third kind. Or if you really like painting but you're not really good on the putting the model together part of it, you can buy that second part where all you have to do is paint it. And if you want the whole kit and caboodle, you buy that first part. I thought that was a pretty neat idea from Dust Studios.
Yeah, they've always done 2. They've always done the non-painted and the painted, although the painted was much more expensive. And now they have them put them together, so if you want to do that, I would never do that. But if they do prime them, that may be enough, because if I remember, the original list was gray versus tan,
Yeah.
or was it green?
It was
green versus gray?
probably a greenish. It was
I
probably
remember
a
the two
greenish.
colors are. You still have some of those models, right?
Yeah, I do.
Oh man, some of those models are amazingly
They're
cool.
really nice. Yeah.
All right.
Well, you didn't give your favorite component.
Oh yeah, you're gonna read the next question anyway.
Okay.
My favorite component. Wow, there was a lot of. Trying to think what I saw. Okay. I'm not a fan of the. How small can we put something in a box? Okay. However, I really like the new box size for the upcoming guild halls.
Oh yeah.
They rethemed Guild Hall to a fantasy theme, and I don't need games to be fantasy, but fantasy is better than Renaissance or medieval,
Medieval, yeah.
guy with pigs. Anyway, they also put it in like boxes like this. They're like smaller, squarish boxes, and I think that's great because it's a card game.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't need to be in a giant box. So I'll say those boxes.
All right. The next question is, what is Miami Dice reviews? How you pick games for them? And why it called Miami?
Well, Miami Dice are reviews that Sam and I do together.
Sometimes Z's in there too.
Yeah, but we've actually phased him out because... No, because if we have him in, we might call it something else now.
Yeah, all right.
I just like names for different kinds. If you know Miami Dice, you know it's Tom and Sam. If you see Every Game is Awesome, you know it's me and Jason. If you see Sam and Z, you know I'm off the Dice Tower. But and we call it Miami because we live really close to Miami now.
Well, Miami Dice was a play on Miami Vice, the TV show from, I guess, the late 80s with Don Johnson and that other dude. I don't remember his
There's
name.
a lot of plays on that. I believe I've seen Miami Spice. I've definitely seen Miami Vice as a name of, like, disreputable establishments.
Ah, yes.
I think it was called Miami's Vice.
Yes, with apostrophe S. So that's why we call it Miami Dice, is because it's a play on Miami Vice. and
Miami Rice would be a good
kind of-
name for a restaurant.
kind of where we live.
Miami Ice would be a good dessert restaurant.
For ice cream.
Miami. I'm running out. Okay.
Anyway,
Have you ever broken accidentally a component while filming a Dice Tower Judgment? Just once, and it was that meeple, and I put it in the blooper reel from last year.
he also broke an X-wing miniature.
That was
And
in a
then-
drop, though, not the Judgment.
Right. Yeah, and a component drop, and then we
Well, technically, I didn't break
spoofed-
that,
Well, yes, you did, because it had to be put back together.
but it just snapped right back in.
Oh, well, okay.
Did you ever play Colt Express with a DeLorean?
No.
I did not. I've seen it, though. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it is.
I played with the Stagecoach, but not the DeLorean. Will Rattle return for more live plays? Not in 2016, I don't think. It's really expensive for him to fly to America.
Yeah.
And go. There's no reason for him to come to Miami except for that. But it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And he was fun to play against.
Yes.
I just got a kind of almost a kick out of his reactions to Jason. Or even to us when we were getting into our things.
Yeah.
When is the next Tom versus Internet? Don't know yet. Like I said, Gamma videos have taken priority right now. We have some other stuff that's going up this week, but the Gamma videos are the highest. What game or component seem most gimmicky at Gamma?
Gimmicky. I don't remember any overtly, I guess you could say, gimmicky things that we saw, at least. Maybe there was something that we didn't see. I don't know.
Gimmicky. I don't know. I don't know that I saw anything I thought, oh, that's a gimmick. Saw cool stuff. Tell you one thing that was super cool was the from Broken Token. Their insert for Blood Rage.
Blood Rage. Yeah. Mind
So
blowing.
cool.
Very cool.
That is maybe the best insert I've ever seen for any game. It was that good.
They have little clips where the miniatures can clip into each spot so that when you paint them, if you paint them, you don't have to worry about the paint getting chipped off. And it's, I don't know, it's just really, really cool.
Very impressive. How do you feel about companies reprinting their games with your seals of excellence? Yeah.
Go for it.
Please see some test from...
I mean, if
They almost always ask us anyway.
yeah, if they ask us for it, that's one thing. I mean, that's us giving our approval for it. And
Well, they
it's
almost always do
usually-
so they get the big version of the logo.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, I guess they. If you're talking about people just doing it arbitrarily, not, without asking us and just saying, hey, this'll, whatever, bring attention to our game or whatever, then that's kind of shady. But
Okay. Why do we see so little of you during the live stream? I was running around doing meetings, talking to publishers, designers, eating shrimp cocktail. No, I wasn't.
schmoozing.
There was a lot that I also was going to seminars and just mostly networking and doing a lot of that. And besides, you see enough of me on the channel anyway, so it was good to see other people featured. What segment or review was I most upset at being lost in the Eric-only episode of the podcast? Just all of it, really. I hate redoing anything. We've done that a few... In fact, last year, we did a top 10 games from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Which was 2005.
2005.
Right, it was because we did it in 2015. And we lost it, and we didn't want to do it again because there was like a lot of back and forth on that one, and it was like, why are we doing this again?
Right.
So,
That lost top 10.
who is the most different in real life versus their online persona?
Probably me.
Oh, you're just being the three of us? Yeah, you.
I don't
us.
walk around punching people in the throat. I don't, drop kick babies or what have
I'm gonna
you.
come in with a brace around someday. Yes, he's telling the truth. He doesn't ever hit. Of the extended dice tower, Chaz Marler.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. He's very, very, and he says it even in this thing. He says he's introverted, but when he has his show, he's on point.
Right. It's because he works very hard at memorizing everything.
Right.
So he knows exactly what he wants to say, how he wants to say it, and I was very not surprised because he is a go-getter, but I was very happy with how well he was at interviewing people because he's used to doing things kind of scripted in a scripted way, and interviews are anything but that. But he really did a very good job.
I'm going to go get a
Go
glass
get a
of
drink
water
of
real
water,
quick.
yeah. That's probably mine anyway.
Yeah,
right?
go ahead.
All right. Blood Rage. Is Blood Rage better with 5 or 3? Of those two options, I'm going to definitely go with 3. My sweet spot is 4. I like a full contention of the base game, the core box. I don't think that 5 players is a good number for Blood Rage. It just goes a little bit too long for my tastes, for what it is. So of those two numbers, 5 or 3, I'm going to say 3 is better. But the caveat being, that's just my opinion, and it is a experience-less. It lacks experience. I've never just played with only 3. I've played with 4 and I've played with 5, and 4 is definitely better. So if I have the option of picking 3 or 5, I'm going to pick 3. I'll say that.
4 is the highest for me. Then 5, actually like 5 a little better than 3 maybe. Then 3, and I've never played with 2, and I would probably suggest 600 other games first.
Yeah.
Because Blood Rage is all about the getting everyone else involved.
Yes, exactly.
All right, what did we think about Jason's performance in the second Resistance game? And we're going to be ambiguous as well, if you want to know what happened, you can go watch it. It's live. It's interesting because I have kind of conflicted on it, right? On one hand, wow, did he sucker punch me? So I applaud that. Wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
But he can never do that again. And I'm not sure I would want that to happen all the time.
Right.
In fact, if it happens in the next couple of years from anybody, right?
Yeah.
I'm calling him out on it.
Right.
I would probably vote him. I mean, that's like an automatic losing strategy.
Yeah, unless it's somebody that we don't know, where they could actually be freaking out like that, and we don't want to, like, boy who cried wolf on us.
Oh man.
Well,
hopefully that doesn't happen.
I thought it was a great performance. I knew it was a performance because I knew he was.
What would you have thought though if it wasn't a performance? Would you have backed down?
Yeah, I probably would have.
Yeah, I think so too, because I was like, oh wow, I actually pushed him that far.
Yeah.
So were you like trying not to laugh?
I was. But
no one was looking at you, so that was a good moment for you.
Yeah.
Right? I went back and watched.
Uh-huh.
And you were very stoic there.
I was.
You weren't reacting as much as everybody else. I didn't even catch that though.
Right.
Well, this one says Sam, so forget me. When Cool Stuff doesn't have a particular game in stock, do you have a secondary online source, or do you go to the secondary market like eBay or Craigslist?
Honestly, I don't buy a lot of games online. The ones that I do buy are usually from Cool Stuff because they give you the best deal. As far as I know. Now you might be able to find a game that goes lower than they do somewhere. But overall, generally speaking, that's usually the best place to get them. If I can't find it there, which is rare, I'll look at Amazon first because I have an Amazon Prime membership, and free shipping is very cool as far as that's concerned. So, but I really don't do a lot of buying games online. I usually wait until I'm in a shop or something like that, or I have the cash on hand. Yeah,
I would also recommend maybe BoardGameGeek.com. There's a marketplace there, so if you're looking for a hard-to-find game, someone's selling it. You probably won't get a cheap price there.
No, especially not on the Geek.
But you'll find the game.
Right.
We answer this one a lot, but real quick, how do you decide who will review each game? Mostly, hey, I want to review that game.
Right.
I guess I have the trump card.
Yes.
If I really want to review a game, it's mine. But usually, like a Games Workshop game comes in, we don't even listen. We're like, Sam.
Yes.
A small card game comes in, probably Z.
Yes.
It's pretty easy going on that regard. We put them all on the shelf, and I'll tell the guys, just grab some games you want to review on your way out.
Mm-hmm.
I played Cosmic Counter for the first time a few days ago and love it. Do you suggest trying one of the variants right away or waiting? Waiting, for sure. We were mean to Eric by making him play a variant. You should wait. How did we find Rob Oren? Didn't he find us?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, we met him one year at Dice Tower Con, and he did a couple things for the Jack Vasel Memorial Fund auction that we do at Dice Tower Con. The first year that I noticed him, he did this huge. He built, first of all, this Death Star trench out of, like, what was it, wood or something like that.
Oh, that was him who brought that in, right?
Yeah, and then it
was amazing.
Then he painted it to look like the actual Death Star trench. And so that was our first kind of introduction, my first introduction at least.
I might have met him before that, but I distinctly remember that now.
And
he's an easy person to remember.
Yeah, and he's like the Schwarzenegger of gaming.
We should call him that.
Arnold. And then the next year, we had another auction going, and he put up like 2 copies of Blood Rage and 2 copies of Forbidden Stars. That was just this last year.
Yeah, but this is what he did. He had 2 copies of Forbidden Stars.
Yeah.
And I was bidding on them because they were painted. It was cool.
Right.
And someone bid on it, and he said, you know what? I'll give it to the second bidder for whatever the amount was. And I said, oh, I would have bid higher than the second bidder. And he's like, all right, I'll do 2 of them.
Yeah.
And then someone else said, well, you do another one.
Yeah.
So he ended up doing 4.
Yeah.
I said, you could just say no.
Yeah, exactly.
But he can't.
Right.
He's a really good-hearted guy. Really, really. I cannot emphasize this enough. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Yep.
and he's raising a lot of money for Jack Vasel Memorial Fund.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. So I mean, I guess short answer is we met him through Dice Tower Con. That's the short answer.
what was the worst part of Vegas other than pins and needle showers? That must be you.
The needles of Cthulhu. For me, and this is kind of really a personal thing, but for me, I was not very impressed with Vegas at all, except for the architecture of Vegas. I was very impressed with the buildings and the different things that you can look at and see. I was not at all impressed with the number of drunk people walking around, the number of smokers that you had to walk through their smoke, and that was probably the biggest letdown for me, was that there was so much of that going on.
I did warn you about it.
Yes, you did, and you didn't necessarily have to warn me, but I knew it was going to be there. But you just know how when you experience something for the first time, it's like in your face. That's how it was. I mean, I had to speed walk through the casinos because there was so filled with smoke. And the hotel that we were in, Bali's, wasn't even the worst one. It was...
Oh, man.
There were other ones that were worse, so I'm glad I didn't go to those.
New York was really bad, and we went to it. You saw Jason, he was like...
that one clip, right. Caesars wasn't that bad, though. I remember.
I think the higher ceilings helps out some. The Paris one wasn't bad either for that same reason.
Right. Now, the Paris one, that was the coolest looking casino because the ceiling is painted like the sky. So even when you walk in there at night, it's like you're in Paris during the day. It was really cool. But short answer, I was not very impressed with Vegas. Except for I enjoyed going to see Penn and Teller, and I loved the architecture of the buildings.
Yeah, for me, number one is very much the smoke. I mean, it's everywhere, and it permeates. And the dryness. It took...
Yeah.
My lips are still, like, getting used to the back to the moisture, but we could feel it. When we landed at Miami, we were like, humidity! And we were a little happy. Or at least I was.
Yeah.
There was some things I liked. I always talk about the food. I like the food, and now that we've gone off the strip for some food this time, we're going to do that a lot more next time because the food was just as phenomenal off the strip, and it was
half the price.
Way cheaper.
Right.
And the Pinball Hall of Fame, I always like that.
Yeah.
What did I like about Vegas? I like seeing the stuff, I guess. Like Sam says, I think it's neat. I just go walk down the street and look at everything. The Coke thing was fun.
Yeah, no,
of course, you could do that in Atlanta, too.
But, I mean, just walk, at least at night, it's just walking down the street, you got to be careful because they have those little, I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You just got to be careful. It's just not family friendly at all.
But I did enjoy Vegas more outside the Strip.
Yes, because it's more like a regular USA town, I guess you could say.
Next time we go, like I said, we'll probably do more of that.
Hopefully.
I mean, we went to that other casino, which was still a casino, and still smoky in parts. Yeah. But the convention center was nice.
Yeah.
Of the other one, really nice.
I would say it's probably even nicer than... I was telling Z one day that that it felt newer, not as run down. And that's probably because, Bally's gets used and used and used. There's a lot of foot traffic there. Whereas the Cannery probably doesn't have as much foot traffic. And so it just feels newer. It feels nicer. So...
Cannery also had free video games.
Ooh, yeah.
We were playing Terminator 2 Judgment Day till my fingers hurt from holding the trigger because I never got that far without having to put another quarter in before.
Yeah, and I got to play Galaxia again. That was really fun.
You were doing pretty good at Ms. Pac-Man.
Yeah, that was fun.
I was surprised. Okay, we are now switching over to the YouTube feed, so if you have questions you want to ask us, you can ask them in the YouTube, but I'm more only going to start from ones that we can see now, not ones that have already been asked, which is not... There's no way that people put them there knew we were going to switch. Well, I guess you could guess, but nope. So, It was just mentioned to direct your questions to the Q&A link. Do not direct your questions there anymore. So, one thing I will talk about Vegas till we get some questions is, some people were talking about family friendliness. I saw families, they were kids, to the Strip. Yeah, there's a circus and there's a roller coaster and there's stuff, but man, there's like 1,000 other places I take my kids first over Vegas.
I think I will.
I was gonna say 1,000,000, but I don't know.
I think I will be very, very solid in saying I don't think I will ever take my family to Vegas, because there's just things I don't want. There's things I definitely don't want my 5-year-old to see, and quite frankly, there are things there that I don't want my teenagers to see either. So that's just that.
All right, here we go. What happened to your glasses? I believe they're in the drawer over there.
Why are they in the drawer, Thomas?
Because I took them off. Let's see. One of the Dice Hour Awards, I need to get cracking on that, actually. We should be releasing our... I need to add that to the list. Remind me when we're done here.
Okay.
April is when we announce the nominees, but that's not far away.
My favorite hockey player, I saw it earlier. My favorite hockey player is right now, and it's a little preferable. I'm a Blackhawks fan, and Marian Hossa probably is my favorite one, because he's one of the older guys, but he still gets in there and plugs away with all the younger guys too. So Marian Hossa is probably my favorite hockey player right now, with a very close second of Corey Crawford.
Me too. Me too.
He has no idea that he's doing.
I don't know. I know Wayne Gretzky.
Oh my God.
And Mario
Lemieux.
Yeah. Those are the only two. And the goalie for the Flyers was
Ron Hextall.
And I knew that because my neighbor was like, "Oh, he scored a goal!" I never heard the end of that nonsense. All right, I got it. A goalie scored a goal once.
No, it actually happens more than that. But
no.
He was, yeah.
All right, what smash-up factions would you like to see in a future expansion? Cowboys. It has nothing to do with the football team. I just like Cowboys.
Smash-up factions.
Ooh, do they have gangsters yet? Or is that one of the ones that just came out?
They probably don't. No, I don't think they do. Let me go check. Maybe superheroes? Do they have a superhero?
No, that's the one that just came out. And the one that you just asked for, it was superheroes, sharks, twisters, and I forget the other two. Oh, Greek gods was one. And the Greek god one was when I was like, oh, whatever. I don't care. But there's so many combos now, and they got enough to make. I'm more excited about the next expansion with the Star Wars and Transformers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do we have any plans for International Tabletop Day?
He does.
Yeah, I'm going up to the F2Z headquarters. There's more, and I'll be talking about that as soon as I have information from them. We're going to have a contest where you could come, I think.
Yeah, Z and I are going to be heading up the Tabletop Day at Cool Stuff up in Hollywood, because the head honcho is going to be out of town. So Z and I are going to be doing that probably.
That's an interesting one. What's it like walking into your home after returning from a convention?
Absolute total comfort. Just that's the best way I can put it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love walking home and having the kids be like, "Daddy!"
Yeah.
That's such a great feeling. It really is.
Yeah.
Lasts for like 30 seconds. The part I hate is when I come up and I'm like, oh, I got to put all this stuff away and everything. But for a brief moment in time, it's good. And sometimes they make me signs. I like that. I like signs a lot. All right, what is the current game you're playing with your family right now? I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about mine right now. I think it might be under... I'm playing a game.
Wow. Well, the one that I probably play the most with my son is Pirates, Robots, Ninjas, and Zombies from Rather Dashing Games. He loves playing that game. He's not very good at it. He doesn't have all the intricacies worked out in his mind, but he enjoys playing the game. He doesn't really understand what's going on, but he enjoys it. So that's The one I'm playing with my family the most, probably.
Now realize that we didn't get a chance to play hardly anything at Gamma. So a lot of people
Right.
are saying, did you play this, did you play that? Unless we mention that we did play it,
Right.
we really haven't. So I haven't played, for example, the Bloodborne game, or the Godfather game, or the Dice Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Dice Masters. Although I will play that one soon.
Yeah.
But most of these games we just haven't had a chance to play. Who is Supreme Leader Snoke, in your opinion?
Um,
I'm going to go with the fact that he's no one. I
Yeah,
figured he's
here-
just a guy.
I think the better question would be, do you care who Supreme Leader Snoke is? And
Jar Jar Binks.
I really don't.
Jar Jar Binks.
I think it would be, of the different theories that are out there, I think it would be interesting if it were Pelagius. It would be interesting if it were that.
Pelagius?
Darth Pelagius.
The one that Darth...
The Emperor.
He's one of like, this guy brought people back from the dead, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
Yeah, it would be cool if that were the case. But whether they actually
They did
went
that, and then
that far into Star Wars lore and to bring Pelagius back as...
What if, and this, I'm trying not to be spoilers, what if anyone who may have died in episode 7 was brought back in
I
episode
doubt
8?
that's going to happen.
That would make
either.
you mad, I think, actually.
Yeah, it would, because he would probably not be good
A bad
anymore.
guy.
Yeah.
That's probably a little spoiler, sorry, but if you haven't watched Star Wars by now, I don't know what to tell you. You should have watched it. Seriously, come on. I'm not deliberately avoiding all the Asmodee questions, but I've already gone over that, and what they said at Gamma was not really much new information to go on. I think I'm going to withhold my opinions on the whole Asmodee North America thing until it happens. Okay, that's April 1st. It's supposed to go in effect. So when it goes into effect, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And then figure it out from there.
One of the things that Anton said that I thought was interesting was the fact that they are not telling people what to sell the game at. They are just changing the price that those people are able to buy those games from them at, right?
That is correct. I mean, well, that's a little bit semantical, but yes.
I think that's because, I mean, while there is a little bit of control, if you can't purchase it for this, I mean, if you have to purchase it for a certain amount, there's only a certain level of discount that you can put on that game and still make your profit from it. So I understand how that can be semantical, but I did like that view of it a little bit more. We're not telling people what he said was, we're not telling people what they can sell the game at. We're only changing what they can purchase the game from us at. After they do that, they can put whatever price on it that they want. So, I mean, I don't know. I really think this is much ado about nothing.
For
Mountain
consumers,
out of a molehill
it's
type thing.
not going to be as bad as you think. Online stores are definitely going to carry the games. They're just going to go up in price. The discount will not be as great. What does that mean in the long run? Again, I'm going to take a wait and see approach before we jump all over this and see. There's other stuff happening behind the scenes with different online retailers and local game stores and distributors and stuff, and there will be some growing pains and things. I think probably by May we'll have a better picture of what's going on. Mm-hmm. What are we looking forward the most about the UK Games Expo? Bought our tickets today or yesterday. Woo! Very excited. For me, it's the UK. I've never been to England.
And I've only been there for an overnight stay. My dad and I were flying back from Germany to the States, and we had an overnight stay at a bed and breakfast there just outside of London. So I've never been there. So I'm of note. So I'm just really looking forward to being there. I do have a number of people that I talk to on a semi-regular basis. So I'm looking forward to meeting them. Face to face. So that's cool. And I don't know. It's just it's another country that I've not technically, I've not really been to. So
yeah, I'm really excited about that. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're excited. We're gonna. A lot of UK gamers like the show, and I've gotten lots of emails from people already. We're very excited to be there.
Right. Very much so.
So this is Bill asked, was Plaid Hat at Gamma? Or did I just miss that segment? You did not miss that segment. Plaid Hat was not technically there. F2Z was there, but they were there at a very small presence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think they were showing off a Plaid Hat game. However, I will be going to the F2Z headquarters, like I said, at Tabletop Day, which is about 1 month from today. They told me when I come, I'll be able to bring my camera, and that is when you will see the stuff coming from them. So they're waiting for that day to announce most of their stuff. But they did show off the Cthulhu game, and it looked good, you gotta admit.
Yeah, they had it.
It looks better than the big Cthulhu game. What's that one called?
Oh, goodness.
Cthulhu Wars.
Yes, Cthulhu Wars.
And Cthulhu Wars is cool, but you're like, wow, it's so big. This one was small, and I was like, well, I don't actually dislike the fact that it's small.
Uh-huh.
Although it was cool to see at MeepleCon, there was a guy that with Cthulhu Wars, and he had all the extra factions for it. Oh man,
There was a lot of plastic.
I thought the game was big already.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of weird. All right. Do you know how much artists get paid for board games?
Nope.
It's not a small amount, but it usually comes out to be around the same that the designer will make. Some artists get a percentage of the royalties. Most are paid though piecemeal. And unless they're a new artist, they're getting paid at a reasonable rate, as they should be, because art's a big deal. Where's Board Game Breakfast? Yeah, YouTube, I hate you. I don't know. It's uploaded. We're waiting for YouTube to process it. It should be up. Sorry, we were wiped. We flew in and landed in Miami at 7:30 a.m. Got back to Homestead around 8:30, a little bit before that.
Mm-hmm.
I took a shower, turned around, went right to church. You probably did the same thing, right? And then I conked in the afternoon.
So did I.
So people kept coming up to me going, "You look really tired." Thanks. I am. Does my plaid hat symbolize something?
No, it's just a hat he grabbed up.
No. It's actually from Plaid Hat Games.
Yeah, it is.
But even then, it's not really theirs. There's no logo on it, so it matches my black and red shirt. I'm kind of there. You go. What's the funniest joke you know? I have to think about that one. I have an idea. Do you think Carson City will come back and print? It was just printed at Essen, the deluxe version, unless they've sold out already. In which case, if they did, probably yes. Which animal, if given the opportunity, would you most like to pet? Okay, this can sound weird. I love to pet a porcupine. No. Because I heard that if you pet them on the quills...
It's very smooth.
Yeah, so I'd be very careful, and I would hope that there would be an animal handler that would be like, no, that's the wrong way, moron. Right? So, or I think it'd be cool to pet like a tiger. Again... with a muzzle, or super friendly, or maybe a tiger. I was like, what's a tiger? Tiglet?
Cub?
Tiger cub, yes.
A tiglet? My goodness. I would probably have to say either a polar bear or a Siberian tiger.
A polar bear?
Yeah, polar bear or Siberian tiger.
All right. Blah, blah, blah. Where are we? Let's see. Do you think you guys will do more live feeds similar to the Gamma feed with the BTS feel?
Behind the scenes.
Yes. We're definitely going to do that Gamma next year. But if we can get a live stream at Origins, we will do the exact same thing at Origins. The difference between Gamma and Origins is in Gamma, we focus on publishers. At Origins, we focus on games.
Yeah.
So one publisher may have multiple games that we will show off in separate videos later on. I'm thinking maybe Gen Con possibly, but considering how much we paid just to get an electrical cord there, I don't know how much it would cost to get internet there. Streaming internet.
Where?
At Gen Con. Remember, it was like $120 just to get a plug in our booth. So I don't know.
Goodness gracious.
Um, you know, I'm seeing this background conversation about people talking about friendly local game stores don't bring people in the hobby. You know, I used to really think that too until I saw the numbers. And we were just at a place where there were 600 friendly local game store people there.
Mm-hmm.
And those are good ones. And they bring people in the hobby. Sure, homes bring people in the hobby. And the internet, I'm not arguing that, certainly has exploded growth. But we cannot ignore what local game stores do, especially since they still do sell the majority of games that are being bought. Again, this is not me making this stuff up or guessing. This is cold hard facts. Local stores still sell more than online stores. They still sell more than Amazon sells. Now, how long that will last is anyone's guess.
True.
It could change.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is right now. What do you think about the new application for Descent from Fantasy Flight Games? That's definitely one of my coolest piece of news that came out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really... Will it be as good as me as Dungeon Master? No. Mostly because it will have no mercy.
Right, yes.
Man, I'm really sad Board Game Breakfast is still not up yet. Yeah, it was uploaded around 1. YouTube is just taking forever to process it. What did you think of Labyrinth, the movie board game? I missed that one.
I did too.
It was there, I guess, but I didn't see it.
I think I saw it, but I was not really a big fan of the movie, so it didn't really catch my eye that long. I just noticed, oh, that's from that movie.
Okay, some of these people are asking the same questions that we've already answered. Wow, definitely ones that have been answered. Are you missing a tooth? What happened? Well, it was originally a throat punch,
No,
but I
it
went
wasn't.
down.
It was not.
It's called, Tom, you should brush your teeth better. And it was so painful I had him pull it out. And then I said, how much is it to put a new tooth in? So it's still out. True story. How's the diet going? Good.
Except for that week-long setback.
I have not weighed myself after Gamma. I'm going to wait a couple days so that the sticker shock. But I had salad for lunch. I'm having salad for dinner, although the salad for dinner is mostly because we're going to Chuck E. Cheese and the pizza there is an abomination of humanity. No, I'm serious.
No,
if I ranked all the pizzas
good.
in the world, Chuck E. Cheese is worse than even Little Caesars.
I was going to say like microwave pizza.
I actually like microwave pizza sometimes. Oh, you mean like just straight up microwave? Oh, yeah, that's true. But I don't microwave pizza anymore because I learned that trick about the frying pan. You put a little bit of butter in the frying pan, you throw a piece of pizza in there, you flip it again, it's like 30 seconds, and it tastes...
I was talking about like frozen pizzas. Like,
A frozen pizza in the oven's not bad.
I don't like it.
It's not delivery.
That was almost like a free advert.
But here's the thing, though. When they say it's not delivery, I think, yeah, I know. I want delivery.
I bought it.
And there's no possible way that I'd eat that piece of pizza. My wife would be like, oh, is that delivery? No. Sorry. Sam, what's the worst material to paint?
Wood.
Oh. Is wood more annoying than mixed materials? What do you think about mixed materials? Like when there's pewter and plastic or whatever?
That would probably be my least favorite. I remember going back because the paint is different. It rests different on pewter than it does on the actual plastic resin. So I always hated doing that because there used to be GW models that would have, it was mostly a plastic resin model, but then it would have this arm or this extension that was pewter, or the other way around. First of all, getting them
and then green stuff.
Getting them to stick together, first of all, was but then painting it was also I like now having everything one way. And I'm not an expert. I'm not that very much experienced with a bunch of different things. So that probably is a better question for Rob on one of his live painting sessions that he's been doing for the last couple of weeks.
Well, what's your favorite thing to paint? So plastic, resin, pewter. Where would you put them? I like to paint paper myself.
I would probably say I'm the most experienced with painting plastic, although some of the resin models that have been coming out lately are also very simple to paint and very easy to paint as well. So probably plastic, resin, and then pewter.
Do I think there will ever be another Cosmic Con? Probably not. Okay, well, we jumped down some questions, so we're just going to stay down there. When will you be using the new microphones? Well, we used them for our live feed last week.
Well,
we only
not for the live feed.
Not for the live feed. I'm sorry. For the videos that you'll see, you'll definitely notice.
Right.
I certainly noticed.
Yes.
I used one for Board Game Breakfast today. So whenever that posts, you will see it. We didn't use one here just because of the amount of setup it would have been. And we're waiting for Derek, who's the new video/audio guy. We got 2 of them set up for us, but we have 3. When he gets here, we'll be using the mixer, all 3 of them. There's a top 10 list going up this week where we're still using this microphone here. So it will be a month of transition probably.
Yeah.
And then I need to get probably a 4th mic at some point. But 3 is what we have 3. We just need to get them mixing. The new camera, this one here, has only 2 inputs. So we use those 2 for gamma. But if we're going to do all 3 of us, we could say, well, you don't get one. Which might work, I guess, if we use 2 and the guy in the middle maybe
They
is...
still count. They still pick up rather well.
Yeah, I think so. I'm really looking forward to using them. And they're nice. They're really good. They're Shure microphones, which is a really good company.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you could add your own expansion to Pitch Car, which special piece of track would you add? Online, I found a guy who made a loop. I would.
Loop?
A loop.
How does that even work?
You have to flick it so fast.
There's no.
It goes.
My goodness. I don't know.
I would actually want. I would like something. I would like maybe some variation of like a jump or maybe I know, a split. I would love a split. Because like going down a track, which way are you going to go? And you try to make them both like this one's longer, but it's a straight shot. This one's shorter, but it's a curve. Which one will you take? I love stuff like that because it's like in Super Mario Kart when you're racing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can go
Take
over here and
shortcuts or
take a
whatever.
shortcut, but the shortcut has stuff. It's not really that good of a shortcut.
All right.
What do folks at your churches think about you, what you do for a living? It's a pretty weird job to talk to people about.
You got that right. Most of the people in my church think that I just play board games for a living now. And
Definitely the first thing people
that is
say.
so far from the truth.
That's all we did today was play board games.
Yeah, that's all we did today.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we do get to play a lot of board games.
We do.
But there's a lot more involved. I usually just say to people, I'm a reviewer, like a movie reviewer, but of board games. Then their first thing is, oh, you play board games all the time. And I'm like, no, I really don't. There's a lot more involved than that. There's a lot that goes into video editing. A lot that goes into video editing. But most people think it's a pretty awesome job. And what am I supposed to say? Because it is.
Yeah, I don't... It's kind of the whole thing. I'm starting to feel... when people say, oh, you play board games you get paid to play board games. I feel the same way when people say that as I do when people say, oh, I went to a boxing match and a hockey game broke out. It's, I don't know.
That really ticks him off.
My fuse is getting shorter and shorter and shorter because, I don't know.
And then they go, board games, get it?
Because I'm bored.
Would you rather run at speeds of 60 miles an hour, or would you rather be able to fly at 10 miles an hour?
If I could run 60 miles an hour, yeah, I'd still want to fly.
I think so too, because I'm telling you, unless I get the flash reflexes at 60 miles, I'm like, oh, look how fast I can run. Oh, I just broke my arm again. Let's see. We'll finish with a couple questions. Find some good ones.
Oops.
How long does it take to film your average review? That's a good one for you.
How long does it take to
film an average review?
An average review? It probably takes just filming it. Wow. Just filming it, I would say probably an hour.
It's hard. It's hard to say an average because some games I can do them in 20 minutes.
And
some games take hours because of the rules.
Sometimes you mess up and you have to go back and reshoot something. So there's a lot that goes into that scale, whatever it might be. So I would say probably on average with setting up the game, shooting, and then taking the game down, probably about an hour.
How do you feel about putting ketchup on a hot dog?
Why would you not put ketchup on a hot dog?
Abomination!
Why would you not put ketchup on a hot dog?
I have never in the last 20 years.
Okay.
Order of things put on hot dogs: sauerkraut or kraut, chili, cheese, mustard, onions, relish. Those are all fine toppings. Somewhere 6,000 below them is ketchup.
Well, it's not the only thing you put on a hot dog.
No, it's the only thing it's the only condiment off the top of my head that I would just downright refuse to put on a hot dog. I'm trying to think of another one I would not put on. I wouldn't put mayo on a hot dog.
What? Why would you not put mayo on a hot dog?
I'm not a big fan of mayo.
Those are the two things that I always put on a hot dog. What's wrong with you?
I'm just not a big... I'd put barbecue sauce on before...
Well, that's good too.
Personally, if you take out the kraut and the chili, if it's just ordinary, I'm at a regular restaurant, it's going to be mustard and onions. Because that's what...
See, I'm not a big fan of mustard. Unless it's like a Dijon mustard or a spicy mustard or something like that. I don't like regular yellow mustard. It's just...
I like yellow mustard better than no mustard, but I do agree, Dijon and spicy mustard.
Ketchup and scrambled eggs? Yes.
Well, that's different, though.
No, it's not.
I like ketchup on scrambled eggs. There's 3 things I like ketchup on. Scrambled eggs, although I'll never do it because salsa's better.
Okay, yeah. But if salsa's not present, ketchup it is.
Ketchup on meatloaf.
Okay, that's like a no-brainer.
I know!
The base is ketchup based.
And ketchup on a hamburger is not bad. That's what ketchup belongs. You know where else ketchup belongs? Nowhere.
French fries.
No. Mustard.
I know, you like to put mustard with French fries?
Barbecue sauce,
you're just a
ranch
freak.
dressing.
You're just a freak.
Aren't you guys glad you're watching Board Game Questions and Answers? All right, so anyhow, if you missed the live Gamma streams from last week, they're still available. I highly recommend watching them. There's not much boring stuff. You can go.
They all have timestamps now.
That's true. Sam that's what he spent.
That's what I did this
playing
morning.
games
I
today.
played board games. It's called put the timestamp on the live video.
That's true, though. You can go to all the live videos and you can go. You stamp both the interviews and the Q&As, right?
I did.
So you can go and just click and go right to the one that you want to. Hopefully that guy makes it easier for you. As soon as we're done here, I'm back to editing more videos. Look for our Gamma footage to start going up tomorrow. There's a top 10 pickup and delivery games is going up this week. Board Game Blender is going up Thursday. Board Game Breakfast will go up sometime. YouTube! We got lots of other reviews. Jared's Top 100 is still going up this week.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of videos, I promise. And maybe we'll do one of those live gaming things if we're done.
The Dutch put peanut sauce on French fries? What is that? I've never even had.
I would try it.
What is peanut sauce? I've never heard of it. Like peanut butter? Now that's something I put on a burger. I'll put peanut butter on a burger. That's good.
I could do
there.
that. But peanut sauce is different. I'm thinking it sounds more like it would be the peanut sauce you put on like maybe Chinese food or something. I don't know. Who knows? Okay.
Board Game Breakfast is done.
Board Game Breakfast is up. Yeah! Miracle. Sorry, it's Board Game Early Supper. I have to go to Chuck E. Cheese
Light
tonight.
afternoon snack, yes.
It's for when our kids have a birthday, they get to pick where we go out to eat, and my daughter picked Chuck E. Cheese. So,
That's why you don't let your kids pick.
well, money-wise, it's a better choice of what the older ones are picking.
That is probably true.
Oh, I can pick anywhere. Like, hang on. Here's a list of restaurants that are too expensive. Alrighty, guys. Have a great time. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
And I'm Sam Healey. See you on the flip side, folks.
You've been watching the Dice Tower. Shut the door.
Ooh.
The card game.
That is probably not going to be released.
No. Since it's that Game Crafter, you can actually
it's
get it
Game
printed
Crafter.
in.
Oh, that's true. You can go to Game Crafter and get it, I guess.